Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I would like to call this September board meeting to order, and we'll have a word of prayer, and then we'll do the pledge. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day and for your blessings. God, I thank you for this school system and for your hand upon it. God, I just thank you for everything that you do for us, God, for blessing this school, God, for continuing to watch over it and protect it. God, I thank you for that. I ask you right now to give us wisdom that we would make the right decisions for this school. Bless this night in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have our consent items, which consist of the agenda, the minutes from the August 12th meeting, the facility rental for Washington Dance Academy on May 16th and 17th, and a fundraiser for the LCH Cheerdevils. Do I have any questions about those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent item.
I'll make a motion.
By Ms. Mongoose, second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Thank you. Our next item tonight is public participation. It's my understanding that we have a couple of people that want to be on public participation tonight, so.
Yes, sir. First, we'll call Ms. Candace King to the front. Ms. King, you have 3 minutes, and you address the chair. Just right here.
You
at the
stand
table.
right there, be fine.
Not good at public speaking. All right, I'm Candace King. I live at 1251 Amity Woodlawn Road. I'm here tonight not just as a parent, but a voice of a child. My child, my daughter, who is one of many victims of a student who has repeatedly assaulted, harassed, and bullied others in the school district for the last 6 years. Let me be clear, it is not a misunderstanding, it is not a phase, it is a pattern of violence. Over 11 children that I know of personally, that mothers have reached out to me to tell me the stories, have been harmed, either physically, emotionally, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, sexually harassed, in ways that will take years for them to heal. And yet this student remains in our school district. And I don't know why. That's what I'm here, is why. I feel, are we waiting for one more child to get hurt? Are we waiting for one more child to be assaulted? Or the next emergency? I am not waiting. That is why I'm here to address you. And I hope and I pray and I believe in my heart that none of you would want to wait to allow another child to be hurt. My daughter did not ask to be a victim. She didn't ask to carry the weight of fear. Into her classroom. She didn't ask to lose her sense of safety in a place that's supposed to support her and supposed to protect her. And she is not alone. There are other families, other children who have been silenced, re-traumatized, and forced to coexist. Pardon me. With a student who has shown complete disregard for human dignity. And this is not about rehabilitation. That is a completely separate conversation that can be had, but that is something that would be held most definitely outside of the school district and school system. This is not something we can afford to gamble with. Excuse me. I just completely lost. This is about accountability. This is about drawing the line. This is about saying this is enough. This has been going on for 6 years, and beyond the times that, I know he has been reprimanded every time. I know there's been disciplinary actions, but it just continues to keep happening. So we cannot afford to hope that this time will be different because we know that it won't. So I'm asking you as the leaders and as pillars of our communities, as protectors of our community and of our children, is to permanently remove this child, not as punishment, but as protection, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Our children deserve to feel safe. They deserve to learn without fear, and they deserve to know that when someone hurts them, that our system will stand up for them and not just stand by. And I would be happy to answer any other questions. I have a much lengthier version of this out because it's hard to fit everything into 3 minutes just with my daughter alone, let alone 10 other students that I know of. I have a couple other parents. One just emailed me on the way here, a couple other are having personal family issues, and rightfully so. I was not about to bother them with this matter at the moment.
Do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
I did not want to just name a name because I think for the most part I have been very loud and clear about this, and I know I've spoken to you, sir. But in my email that would be personal, I do name a name, and I just, out of respect, even though, because he is a juvenile and he is a child, and I feel that he's been failed in many ways, and I do have a part of empathy to me, but that also stops when my daughter or other children are being hurt. And then, would you like the copies of my statement?
Sure.
I have no idea how many members, because I was not paying good attention.
This happened
There
on the
are
bus.
2 pages to,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me the time to speak this evening as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ms. Catherine Harris.
Good afternoon.
State your address.
My name is Catherine Harris. My address is 1009 Garnett and Harris Road in Lincoln. And my issues with the bus. My nephew, Aiden, riding this bus. He's been riding this bus for 4 years. And just about every other cycle, he's on the front seat. He has been written up recently for disturbing that happened on the bus. And we still hadn't gotten the matter situated. I talked to Mr. Johnston. I talked with Dr. Gunn. And they look at the tape, and clearly he wasn't, the cause of the incident. And he's still sitting on the front seat. And the same thing is what she just said. I'm thinking that he's not getting his fair share. He's not being respected. And I think that, I want to know the bus driver doing her own thing, because when I told her about it, she said, she approached me, she said that Aiden's getting written up. And he hit somebody in the face with a book bag. And also, when they look at the tape, clearly see that the other little boy did, but he's still sitting on the front bed. And I want to know who is in charge of the bus driver. Or they just do their own thing, what they want to do. I'm very disturbed, because I'm very disturbed about that. And they go, and the thing will really set it off, the bus driver came, usually get there about 3:30. This day she got there about 20 minutes going down the road at 20 minutes till 4 o'clock. And, it just bothered me, because I get about my bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to get Aiden to the bus at 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes the bus might come at 10 in the morning. Sometimes the bus might come at 6:30. But the thing is that it's just like they don't value your time. Even though I know they have different things going on with the bus, But I just don't understand that. Why is it that, it's just down there, on Augusta Highway, that we have these issues? Like the other day, they had to bring my nephew all the way back. This is my nephew. They had to bring him all the way back to school, because they said I wasn't there. I didn't pick up the road. That's because she left. I don't know what it is that, I don't know what they're trying to do, because Aiden's in my care. I'm his guardian. And then, like, once I have a caseworker for him, she comes out and evaluate, what's going on. They can't say he's dirty, filthy, nasty, but it's like it's they nitpicking. And he deserved to be respected, and his rights shouldn't be just like that. His rights shouldn't be violated. And she was the jury, executor, the jury, and the judge. And she put him on the front bus. And I asked her, she says, he didn't get rid of. I said, no, he didn't get rid of. So he's still on the bus, on the front seat. It's like she's pointing him out, like she's, like he's gonna hit somebody, murder somebody, or something, like he's a violent kid. It is not a violent kid. So that's what my issue is with the bus. I want to know Mr. Scott. I've been trying to call him several times. He hasn't returned no calls. I talked to his assistant, and I talked with her. She's very nice. Mr. Scott, ever since Paul and Deborah been driving the bus, I hadn't had one conversation with him, and he know this stuff is going on down there on Augusta Highway on those buses. And like you said, I can't tell it all in 3 minutes, but there's some of the things that are going on that bus. And I want to know what they're doing about it. Who is in charge? Mr. Scott, or is the bus driver make their own decisions? And that's what my issue is. Who is in charge? The bus driver or Mr. Scott?
Thank you, ma'am, for being here. And in both cases, I can assure you, we will look into the issues, and we will discuss it with Dr. Gumby. So thank you all for being here and willing to share. So we appreciate your time. Our next item is our financials.
It's already open at the bottom, Dr. Stein.
Good evening. Tonight we are in FY26 for the first month financials. So we have July 25. This is a basic month. We only had 1 day of school, so not a lot of activity. Our biggest thing was our QBE that we get monthly. But, we don't collect a lot of property taxes or anything, so financials just kind of are what they are. Not a lot of funds in, but a lot of funds out. So I'll show you some of the prior year numbers to show that this is just a low month for incoming funds. All right, so for our expenses, we are still under where we have budgeted, but we did also pay a lot of things out in September, like our workers' comp and our finance system. Finance and sick leave system, so a lot of big payments, and we're still under the 8.33% at the end of the month. So expenses are right on par with where we thought we would be. Here's a balance sheet for cash. We are about $500,000 higher than we were July of last year. So I would say that's about our cash increase in the past year. And obviously our assets and equity are up about the same. Here is our total equity. Obviously the first month of the year there were a lot more expenses than income, so we show a deficit, but there was a bigger deficit last year, so this is pretty standard for the first month of the year. Capital projects we have not done much with lately, so I just left as is with no listed projects. If anything comes up, feel free to share with myself or Dr. Gumby, and be glad to add to it. This does not include the budgeted amount. We don't usually do that until later in the year or when needed. Our school CEP program, like I said, we only have 1 day of meals. So this gives you an average of what we do in meals a day. It's around 1,500, which is a little over $5,000 a day from the state that we receive. As you can tell, we purchased a lot of food this month, and we paid another web deal for Miss Singleton. So all in all, I think we started this program. I think we started keeping record in August of last year, so we are right at $61,000 to the good through a year of our record keeping. Our bond, as I just mentioned, we collect most of our taxes November, December, January, so we do not collect a lot of tax this month, just a little over $6,000. We are getting a lot of interest because we have $1.4 million in the bond account. That's $300,000 higher than where we were same time last year. Our SPLOST continues to boom, almost 120,000. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. But I did some more math today. This projection of $5 million over 60 months is around $83,000 a month. So you get with that one in August was $35,000 higher than this was projected for. Now I think every payment on here is higher than $83,000. So we are running out of SPLOST and quickly. We are going to hit the $5 million cap probably in FY27 pretty soon. I put some prior months on here for you as well to show that the money we have received went up 2.4%, but the number of months we went up was only 1.67%. The money is drastically coming in faster than we anticipated. Here's our old SPLOST that has been shown each month. SPLOST summary, it is up as well, $700K here. I think we owe $320,000 at the end of the month for our bond payments that I will pay out of SPLOST. $125,000 over where we were last year. So all in all, we are $430,000 ahead of where we were last year in bond and SPLOST combined. This is a summary to show that we owe $1.7 million for FY26 with $320,000 due this month and the other $1.3 due April 1st, and we have all that money plus another $440,000. Kind of leads me into the next point. As you can see there, $400K higher than where we were. Resolution again, we've mentioned this several times. This SPLOST resolution is crucial for our school system. It is not a tax increase. It's in bold print, all caps. It is not a tax increase. This is a continuation of our current SPLOST. The only difference is we are now able to use this for some of our capital projects, which could, over time, help our property tax owners. It could reduce our M&O millage rate. So I say that again, this is not a tax increase. For the school's purpose, this will keep SPLOST at 8%. Our pros of SPLOST is, if passed, the BOE can use this money for other sources instead of just for our bond, so it can ease the tax burden on our property owners. And it's not just from our citizens and our homeowners, it is collected from everyone who comes through Lincoln County. Cons, if our SPLOST does hit the $5 million cap without a new resolution, then we would have to make up the excess funds collected in SPLOST to pay for our bond, and we still owe about $17 million on our school bond. This is the actual copy of what will be on the ballot on November 4th. I think early voting starts in a couple weeks if I'm right on that. But it's a lot of wording, but it basically says that It allows us to continue our SPOS for other, just for other, necessities for the school, which could be, HVAC repairs or, really just anything. This allows us to do more with the money, and it takes pressure off of our property owners, takes pressure off of our millage rate, just our property taxes. So this will be what you see if you vote. So, the newest thing is, we will never get tired of this bill. HB 581, one of the major reasons we opted out is because we could not get a SPOS to cover the difference in lost funds from the property tax kind of freeze, as you call it. Well, the city and county can, and they are putting it on the ballot in October as well. So the city and county are doing a joint FLOSS, floating local option sales tax, and if passed, it will raise the SPOS, it will raise the sales tax in Lincoln County from 8 to 9%. This is based off of HB 581, and I think they added some things in it, which I really like. It is designed to reduce their millage rate. So, if you can remember, I don't think we were gonna lose a lot of money in the last property tax deal, like maybe 300 grand, and a mill is, $450 for us. I think it's $430 for the county and city. But as you can tell, we're collecting more than that in sales tax a year. So they designed this bill to now be a second rollback. So now they have a rollback rate from the county, but this is another rollback rate. So whatever they collect in sales tax has to take off their M&O. Or they have to do the 3 hearings and the notice to increase property taxes. So, the county and city, I think they're on an 80-20 split with their current SPOS, and this one will be the same thing, not a major deal. But the biggest deal for the county and city is we're looking to collect 1.3 million in sales tax this month. They're getting the same 1% we would. So that is 3 mills of property tax that you could save overall. So if you're a property owner, this seems like a really good bill to me, but if you don't like paying sales tax, this will increase your sales tax. Why am I bringing this to you all? It's because now we have 2 separate SPOS on the same ballot. We're just trying to get ahead of this to show why. And that is all I have.
Do you have any questions? I wanted to reiterate, we need to make sure we get the word out as far as the SPOS, because, and just like you, I was gonna mention some of that, but you basically said everything that I was gonna say, and that is, this is not an increase. This is just a continuation of what we're already doing.
Ours is not an increase.
Right, ours is not an increase. The city and county is the increase in sales tax, but the resolution that we're proposing is not an increase. It is a continuation of what we're already doing. It's just allowing us to spend money that's there and not just on the school bond. The school bond will be paid off in 2037, but right now, the excess money that's coming in from SPOS that we would be able to use if everyone votes yes for that resolution in November. So that's what we need to push. We need to make sure the word gets out to everybody that we would like for them to vote yes for that resolution. That would definitely help the school system, and it would help your tax base.
And the main reason I hit on both is to show that they are 2 separate, but they're not both increases. One, like you said, ours is a continuation, the city and counties is an increase, but it's designed to help property taxes. That
Correct.
HB 581 was designed to somehow stop the, escalating home values and appraisals, and it seems they've done a good job of that with making it a second rollback rate, but that is completely separate from us, and yeah, that's really it. It's
What do y'all think the average person's perception of this will be? Just out of curiosity.
That's my concern, is what we see on the ballot when you see a sales tax here and then another sales tax, how much is it? And we have not seen the county and cities to see if it says going from 8 to 9, Ours does not say any of that. So I'm a little worried at, voters getting overwhelmed or so. That's kind of why I'm hitting on it now. I'll hit on it again in October, and it'll be too late in November, but, as much as we can educate the public on what it is, I think, the more the merrier.
I mean, how do we do that? Do we have a special something to, other than this, people only watch or come visit us whenever it's a tax increase. When there's no tax increase, they're not here.
Yeah, the
But this
newspaper
one-
still seems to get a few, but then somehow we gotta get the word out through social media too.
No.
I don't think any point of entry for this knowledge is a bad thing, anywhere we can share it.
And I think a lot of those resolutions are confusing. When you get in there to vote, they're very confusing. And so that's why I said what I said, and that is, for the school resolution, we need people to vote yes. Because that will help us. You get in there and read that, and a lot of times it will read confusing to you as, do I vote yes or do I vote no? And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. We're encouraging you to vote yes for the school resolution, and that lets them know when they get in there on that ballot and read and see that school resolution, they've heard, the school board say, we need this and we would like for you to vote yes.
Thanks to
And that's why I
Dr. Gumby for getting that this morning for me.
And that's why it's important for those who do support it, kind of share with others. Because as a school board, we just present you the facts. That
Right.
yes, we're going to continue to say we're going to lower your millage rate if we continue to do this. So we need others who support it to get the word out. And maybe through the news media, maybe on social media.
Social media is pretty hot right now, so I mean, it's always hot, I guess, isn't it? I mean,
I've seen in other counties yard signs, vote yes for SPLOST, and, maybe
Yeah.
that'll get brains going to go to the website and check it out, or call one of us.
So it can't be us that put this information out. It has to be somebody else. We can only give the facts
can we-
of
we
what
can-
we've done. We've lowered the millage rate for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's what we're saying. And the reason we didn't opt into 581 is because we said if we don't opt in, then we would bring that savings out to all taxpayers
Right.
and lower the millage rate, which we have done. So we've shown through facts that we are lowering your millage rate. And so this again, this SPLOST will help us to help lower the millage rate. And use those funds, not our local funds, but use the sales tax funds to pay for big ticket items that would normally come out of taxpayers' funds.
Taxpayer money.
HVAC systems very expensive now. To fix them is expensive. Buses are expensive, and we can do all these things now through that sales tax, that SPLOST, versus using local funds.
So please spread the word.
Any other questions about the financials? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. And Mr. Chairman, before you go on, I do see that there's an error on the agenda that is printed.
Okay.
Dr. Stein, if you would pull up the other agenda that shows, there it is. Policy for revision is not on your agenda, so I do apologize.
It's on mine.
I got policy for review.
Review, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
On
your
the
computer is
computer.
right, but this,
Okay,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got it on mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I got it on my computer.
Yeah.
This is the first one you want to do?
yes.
Yeah, I don't have it, yeah, okay. I'm going by the computer, so.
All right, so this policy, Mr. Chair, is part of a new House bill, and it is aimed at making sure that our students, our staff, make sure that they use the internet wisely and appropriately for everyone. So part of House Bill, Senate Bill 351 states that the school systems must come up or do revisions to the acceptable use policy. We have until October the 1st to adopt this policy, which is why we have it tonight. And what you're looking at now was our old policy, and the State Board of Education, not State Board of Education, the Georgia School Board Association, along with the Georgia Department of Education, came up with a template to check all the boxes to make sure they adhere to the new law. And so what we've done is copied exactly the policy from the Georgia School Board Association. And this template is statewide, so majority of schools in the districts have this template. So you will see the old policy striked out, and you go to page 4, Dr. Stein. 5. That is the new policy, with all the boxes checked per the Senate Bill 381. Make sure I get those numbers right. Yes, Senate Bill 351. And Senate Bill 351 is a big bill. Inside of it is not only the acceptable use policy that students and teachers and anyone who accesses our network have to adhere to, but then there's also protecting the Social Media Act. Part of that is to make sure that when kids get on these systems, that we can block certain items from them being able to get on to that. And we've done a good job in the past with that anyway. We're now partnering with a company. We have a meeting on Thursday morning with them to go through the filtering process to make sure we catch all of that. And so we are ahead of the game. So our first deadline, again, is October the 1st, that we have to look at this policy and accept the policy. And then by the 15th, our next board meeting is the 14th. So right now it's up for review. If we adopt it by the 14th, then I'll have a day to submit it to the State Board of Education for review. And again, we don't have the portal yet to even submit it, so I don't even know how you submit it. So again, when they create a lot of policies and rules, sometimes we don't always ahead of time get how to send these documents to the appropriate person. And then just some more deadlines: April the 1st of 2026, July of 2026. We just have to have all these things in place. But again, the state has given us a year and a half to get all this up and running. And part of back to school paperwork that we send home to all students is they agree that they and sign off on the acceptable use policy. And then there are also the punishments when they don't, for both parents and students and staff when they don't adhere to the rules.
Any questions? All right. Next is our policies for review.
Okay. All of these policies are fine as written. This first one just says we will accept and adopt the Code of Ethics, which all school districts do in the state of Georgia. Second one is our protection, self-explanatory. We will wear our safety goggles in all of our CTA classes, our science classes, or any classes that can cause injury to us. And then the final, complaints and grievances. This tells parents, staff, students our complaint procedure, the number of days they have to file, and then the district's response time. And then if they come to the board and if they're not happy with the board decision, then they can go to the state board. So that's the complaint resolution procedures.
All right. Our next item is the purchase of 2 Bluebird 72-passenger propane buses.
All right. I told Mr. Scott and Ms. Dornberg and Mr. Gaines to come tonight if you had any questions. So tonight, we're asking the board to approve for the purchase of 2 new school buses. Again, the state gives us that same base amount per bus, $88,110, but the buses are increasing each year. And this year, the buses are $162,000 apiece. I think talking to Mr. Madison earlier, he remembers when buses were $120,000.
Oh, they were actually like $98,000.
$98,000.
When I first got on the board 8 years ago.
8 years ago. So you can see now they're up to $162,000 per bus. So with the money the state gives us, $88,110 times 2, that's $176,220 that the state will give us, and we're responsible for the balance, which will be $149,617 for those 2 buses. And right now we have 19 propane buses in operation and 2 spare buses. And we're actually going to have a surplus sale. So the 2 new buses will replace 2 of the diesels, and then we should be 100% fully propane buses in our fleet. The state does provide in their formula for 21 buses, 21 drivers. 21 drivers is what they're using in our funding. And so right now we have how many routes? 21 routes. So we're at capacity with our routes. I do have the allocation sheet that shows the 21 drivers and the total amount for every driver. So any questions on the appropriation for FY 25 and 26? So remember, this is for fiscal year 25 that we just completed, and there was 2 buses in FY 25. So we're asking for those 2 buses to come out of that funding that was in last year's budget.
Last year, yeah.
And then for FY 26, we have another bus that's coming, and we'll come back later in the year requesting a special needs bus with that, with those funds. Right now, we're just requesting the 2 buses. If you click on Build a Bus worksheet, Dr. Stein, on the product, this just kind of goes through and how the transportation department builds a bus, all the things that can be added, and of course, all the things we need for the bus. Mr. Gaines, Mr. Scott, Ms. Dornberg, anything?
We just need to buy the 2 buses, these 25 buses that they're gonna sell us is about $8,000 cheaper than the 162. Because they had 2 25s left and they saved them for us, with our name on them. So we actually get 25 buses instead of 26 brand new, that's 162.
Good.
Has it got air conditioning?
They all got air rolls. I fixed all of them, they all got air.
But they're brand new buses, they're just 25-year model, correct?
They're 25-year model, brand new buses.
Yeah. Do we have any questions for any of them?
And these come
Bus-
standard
bus
with the
swap.
cameras, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That is, we get that, cameras and air conditioning. Is up 2 of our specs.
Adjustable pedals.
And adjustable pedals. That's really a good thing with so many drivers, you know, we got them like this.
All right. I make a motion to approve as presented.
All right, I have a motion on the table to approve the buses. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Thank you. Our next item is our fiscal year 25 assessment results.
All right. Hi. Good evening. I'm going to present the 24-25 student assessment results. The bulk of the assessment data comes from our Georgia Milestones assessment, but I'm also including the advanced placement as well as the CTAE data. And I'm doing that just to give a full spectrum of student achievement. So whether a kid wants to go post-secondary education or if they want to go straight into the workforce, Lincoln County values both pathways equally. So I want to give you a full picture of it. Give me a second. I was hoping there was an arrow on it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is go through and just start with the Georgia Milestones assessment. I know, Ms. Daniel, you are very familiar with the Georgia Milestones. Our students take these typically in the spring in grades 3 through 8. They take it in reading, ELA, math, science, and social studies. And then our high school students, they take it in 4 classes in high school. It's Algebra 1, American Lit, U.S. History, and then Biology. And because high school is a semester class, they split it. Some of them take it in this first semester, so they'll take the EOC in the winter, and then most of them take it in the spring. So testing is really big for us for the Georgia Milestones. So I'm going to present a lot of data to you on it. Just to kind of give you a little context, when our students get the results back, they either get a score of a 1 to a 4. 3s and 4s are considered passing. So a 3 is proficient and a 4 is distinguished. So the data that I'm getting ready to show you is the data on how Lincoln County students ranked with the proficiency, so those that passed the test. I'm going to go through and show you a lot of stuff, but just to kind of contextualize it and give you a little bit of understanding, I'm going to hit the high points right now, and I'll circle back to them at the end. First, we're really good with math. We are doing a tremendous job with our math scores. Science and social studies is like everything. There's ups and downs with it, so it ebbs and flows. And although we have a lot of strengths in our reading and ELA, there is some area for improvement, and we'll talk about those in our plans for improvement. as we go through with it. All right, so the first slide that I want to show you is basically how does Lincoln County compare to the state of Georgia. So what you see on this slide are a lot of pluses and minuses. This is how we compare to the state. Are we above them or are we below them? Those that are highlighted in green, we're above, and those that are highlighted in bright green, we're in the double digits. So we're doing a really good job with it. And then just to give you a little bit of context too, for 7th grade, this past year, there was an 80% pass rate for Lincoln County. The state was 69%. So therefore, we are 11 points above the state. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at with those numbers. So as I said to begin with math, we are doing a tremendous job. As you can tell, there's a lot of green there. I do definitely want to point out 6th grade, 24 points above the state average. 7th is 18 points, 17 for 8th grade. And then for middle school that took the Algebra 1 test, which is a high school course in 8th grade, they were 55 points above the state average. So that is tremendous. So we're doing a really good job with that. That's not to minimize the other areas because as you can see, we are doing very well across the board with it. All right, the next one is how we compare to ourselves because it's always important to look at growth. All right, so we first started back with the Georgia Milestones in 2022. After COVID, there was a pause. And so what you're seeing here is how has Lincoln County grown in these subject areas since the year 2022. And again, the pluses and the minuses represent growth as well as decline. And as you can tell, again, we do have a lot of green. And so that is something that we definitely need to be proud of. And the majority of that green, again, is in the area of math. So you can tell that we are definitely capable. We have done a tremendous job over the past years. There's also a lot of areas to be celebrated too with reading and ELA. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper in it right now. So what I'm going to do to give you more of a comprehensive view is I'm going to take each subject and then I'm going to give you the 2 data sets. I'm going to let you look at how we've grown compared to ourselves in 2022, then how we compare to the state. So with reading, and I've kind of phrased all of these slides with strengths. There's kind of some, a little bit of mixed results and then some areas for improvement. So reading, there's definitely a lot of strengths in our upper elementary and our middle school. In grades 5, 7, and 8, you can tell that we've had growth and then we're also higher than the state. So that is something that we definitely want to celebrate. We do have some mixed results in grades 3 and grade 6. They're a little inverse with it. In grade 3, we did drop a little bit in our growth from the year 2022, but we're still 3 points above the state. So that's good. But if you look at 6th grade, although we have grown, we're not quite where the state is. But we're only 1 point below it. So, we're getting closer. Growth is a good thing. And then areas for improvement, if we look at grade 4 in our American Lit, we do see declines in growth. And we also see declines in comparison to the state. So this is an area that I said at the outset, we're aware of it. And I'll talk at the end about some things that we're definitely working on for it. The second area is ELA. And ELA is very comparable to reading. It focuses more on the grammar part and sentence structure with it. Again, we have strengths in grades 5 and grades 8. Then some mixed results with grade 4 and 6, with them showing growth, but they're below the state. And then 7th, although they did decrease in their growth, they're still 9 points ahead of the state. So even though we did decrease compared to ourselves, we're still outperforming the state. And again, American Lit and your lower elementary are our areas for improvement. So a couple of things that you're probably thinking, what are we doing right now to improve with this? This is definitely part of our school improvement plans. Dr. Walski, Mr. Tankersley, and Dr. Goldman have them included in the school improvement plan. We're targeting professional development. At the elementary level, her teachers are focusing on the science of reading, so they're going to a lot of professional learning sessions around that over the next 2 years. They are also having a growing readers coach come in, so I'm going to shout out to Dr. Goldman for securing that from the state for us. So we're having that, and we're also focusing heavily on our interventions at the middle school and at the high school level. It's nothing to be too concerned about though, because we definitely are seeing these gains and we're very happy with what they're doing. All right, math. Again, math is a lot of green. There's a lot of things that we can celebrate here. I've already gone through how we are comparing and definitely outperforming the state. I want to definitely talk about grade 6. They ranked #1 in the CSRA, so they beat Columbia County with that. So that is something that we are definitely going to celebrate, as did middle school enhanced algebra, and high school algebra did that as well. So we are definitely proud of all of this grade. The only areas that are not highlighted in green, there was a change in 5th grade math, but if you still look, they're 7 points above the state. So even though we did decrease in our grade, we are still outperforming the state. So this could just be a fluctuation that's due to a cohort. It could just be the day the kids tested. There's a lot of variables with it. And then with high school, they increased 37 points this year, which is something that, you know, we are tremendously proud of that they have done at the high school. Even though they're not quite there at the state, they're only 2 points away. So I think a 37-point gain is definitely something we want to celebrate. Then as far as science goes, again, this is kind of mixed. Grade 8 biology, they definitely show high levels of proficiency. Grade 8 was actually ranked #1 as well in the CSRA, so we were proud of that. We want to celebrate it. And, you know, some areas for grades 5 and 8 where there was a change, but not much because they're still above the state. And then social studies, as far as 8th grade goes, we definitely want to celebrate that because they are above the state and they have grown. U.S. history had a slight drop, but they're still well above the state. So all in all, we are doing very well, and this is our summary that I said to begin with. Math is definitely a highlight for us. I want to give a shout out to grades 5, 7, and 8 because they outperformed the state in all areas. Grade 8, especially Mr. Tankersley, they've shown growth in all 4 or 5 of their tested subjects. Science and social studies outperformed the state, but you know there has been a decline in some areas of grade. And then reading and ELA is definitely an area that we are targeting for improvement, but we are doing a good job with it. All right, advanced placement. At the high school level, we had 35 students this past year take advanced placement exams. Advanced placement exams are college courses that are taught by our teachers here in our building. And you know, if you rank from a 1 to a 5 when you take the test, and any score that's a 3, 4, or 5 will typically get college credit for it. It is a standardized curriculum across the nation, and it's taught by our people. So it's something that can definitely prepare them for college. We're very proud of the fact that we've had an increase in those numbers. And I want to highlight 2 of the areas that had a 100% pass rate, which was 2D art and then pre-calculus. I think pre-calculus also had a 100% pass rate last year. So this also circles back to the fact that we are doing really well with mathematics in this district. I do want to show that there is a small N size, so that means there was a small subset of students that actually took this test. You have to take that into consideration when you're looking at these rates, because even if you have just 10 kids, if 1 kid fails, that's going to throw your pass rate 10%. So you can't get too much into looking at those numbers, but we're definitely proud of them. And then CTAE, I just wanted to give you some numbers on things that we're definitely proud of. I spoke with Ms. Acott. This past year we had 54 of our seniors complete a CTAE pathway. And a pathway is 3 courses that are in sequence for a career that they may be interested in. So for example, welding, they would take occupational safety, intro to metals, and they would take welding 1. So we had, I believe, 48 of our students actually complete at least one of those pathways when they graduated with us. 16% of them completed 2, and then at least 90% of our seniors took a CTAE class. And, you know, we feel very strongly about the CTAE program because Dr. Gabby, as he always says, we're focused on the whole child. So we definitely want to support the kids that want to definitely go straight into the workforce. As far as work-based learning, this is an area that, as you know, Ms. Acott was selected to serve on the state board. So she's definitely got a vested interest in it and is doing tremendous things with it. 28 of our 90 seniors last year participated in work-based learning. It's a way for them to kind of test drive a career, see if they definitely want to commit to it. And it's also good for networking and finding potential jobs. So the strengths are just those completing the pathways, and then some areas for improvement is just educating our 8th graders, letting them know more about the opportunities that they do have with CTAE, and then increasing the number of students with work-based learning. So these are things that we're working on with CTAE, and we're proud of it. Before I close, I do want to say limitations of the data. Like I said with advanced placement, a small sample size is going to skew it. So you have to be very careful when you're interpreting data. And I will say, any type of data can tell you whatever you want it to tell you pretty much. So you definitely have to make sure that you're always looking at it the correct way. So I wanted to show you that 4 years of data is not enough for us to determine a trend. So even though I'm talking about the growth from 2022 to now, that's like a 4-day forecast. It can just tell you what's happening with the weather, but it's not going to give you the climate. So please take that into consideration. And then there's a lot of missing context. What the state does is they try to quantify a human, a student. And we know that humans are so much more complex than that. And our kids, we don't know what they're coming to us on the day of these tests. It is a 1-day test for this. It does not encompass everything that they have learned throughout the year. They could not be feeling well, or they could be feeling great. It can throw a one way or the other. So, factors like the curriculum's difficulty, how they're feeling, and just how their day's going. So I say all that to say, our teachers are wonderful teachers. Dr. Stein and I have spent the past 2 days in classrooms, and I'm so proud that my daughter is here in Lincoln County with it. So, I just definitely want to give them all a shout out, because even though there are areas for improvement, there's areas across the state that are having areas for improvement too. So pass rates don't tell the whole story. You have to be in the classroom daily and know what these teachers are doing and the impact that they're making on all the children. So I'm just very proud of our teachers and the work that they are doing. If you want to take a deeper dive into it, I'm going to have this presentation up on the website, and you can go to the Georgia Milestones dashboard, and it will give you information from across the state. But overall, I'm very pleased. I think Dr. Gunby's pleased. We do have a little bit of work to do, but everybody in the state has work to do with literacy, and we're on it. Any questions?
All right.
All right, good.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham.
Thank you.
It's very good. Students are doing good across the board. All right. Our next item is our local board training plan.
All right, Dr. Stein is pulling that up. So board members, this is your FY26 training plan that we've kind of talked about. The whole board training, we're looking at the Georgia Leadership Associates coming down anytime between now and September 30th to talk to us about facilities analysis and planning. So we'll select a date. We don't have to select a date now, but the next day or so, we can go ahead and lock that conference in. And it'll be here at the board office. And then we'll schedule the financial planning and budget analysis sometimes before March 31st. But this is what I'll submit to the state. And this report is due September 30th. So we need to go ahead and kind of agree on this is the plan for us.
You don't need to vote on anything?
No, sir.
Okay. I didn't think so. All right, superintendent's reports.
All right, we want to congratulate the elementary school. They received the John Hancock Banner Award, and this award is pretty much making sure our kids learn cursive. And so the schools who receive the Banner Award, 90% of the students can write their name in cursive. And we had to upload all of the signatures into a portal, and then Mr. Woods will be here on September the 19th at 9 a.m. to present that John Hancock banner to us. He came down last school year and presented us math banners. And so he said he wanted to definitely make sure he comes back and give us that John Hancock banner. So look forward to seeing him on the 19th. Anything else, Dr. Goldman, about the Hancock Award?
Yes, sir. That was for third grade, so third grade writes their name in cursive. We did not have enough time to do the preamble for fifth grade, but we're going to do that this year.
Perfect. Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go to executive session. Motion by Mr. Madison, second by Mr. Munger. I'd like to call this meeting back to order. Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire James Madison as a paraprofessional. A second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor?
I'm gonna abstain, but.
All right, Mr. Madison's going to abstain as a relative. Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ava McGill McWhorter, Sharon Pye, Ian Saban, Miranda Caruth, and Tanisha Norman, and Jana Ivy as all substitute teachers. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Thank you. Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Amanda Rogers as a bus driver. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Susan Dent as a school nutrition assistant. Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Superintendent's recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Jaquan Leverett as a school nutrition substitute. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? And the superintendent's recommended that we accept the retirement of Venus Crawford effective October 31st, 2025. Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? And I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Madison, second by Mr. Munger. Thank you all very much.